Thanks for leave your questions. We'll answer. What is your favorite coffee currently being sold at Paradigm Spark? Do you prefer making espresso or pour over? How to brew dark roast coffee? Hello, my name is David from Paradigm Spark, and thanks for leave your questions on previous video. I'm going to keep collecting those questions throughout the time, and then we'll answer a few of them at a time. And I found that some of the questions needs more detailed answer on, especially when it's related to the brewing or preparation method. So I'm going to include some like slightly more like in-depth detailed knowledge about the extraction or preparation method that helps to understand my answer better. Okay, so the first question I got is what is your favorite coffee currently being sold at Paradigm Spark? Right now, we are serving 14 coffees. I try to have different flavor profiles, more focused on exotic flavors. So it is really hard to pick one coffee, but definitely my favorite coffee at the moment is Aleo Castro's Shade Anaerobic Natural Geisha from Costa Rica. And this coffee is the coffee that we are using for this competition season. And the next question is, do you prefer making espresso or pour over? Right now, I equally like making espresso and making pour over coffee. There was barista competition since when I started working as a barista, but there was no Brewers Cup competition in Canada until 2017. So I started doing making pour over coffees around late 2016 or early 2017 while I prepare the Brewers Cup competition. And then as soon as I start more about pour over coffee making, I realized there are different aspects of it on espresso making and pour over making. So like after that, I spend lots of time on pour over making, and right now I equally like making espresso and making pour over coffee. And for me, my understanding of difference between making espresso and pour over is preparation, and then making espresso is the whole cycle, one cycle of the espresso making. But pour over is preparation, making coffee, and then adjusting parts. So the last part is what pour over making has and espresso making doesn't have. Because pour over coffee making is a more stable process and I can have more control during the process. So I test idea on pour over coffee making and then bring that idea to the espresso making. The espresso making and pour over making are related, but right now I'm using pour over making as more extraction method development stage, and then using that idea to improve espresso making. And next question I have is how to brew dark roast coffee. Making coffee, either it is dark roast coffee, medium roast coffee, or light roast coffee, you can approach coffee brewing in different angle based on what you want to achieve. I will answer about this specific question, how to brew dark roast coffee first, and then explain more further how I approach to the coffee brewing. First thing you need to know is what aspects of dark roast coffee you like. You can either like the intensity of the dark roast coffee, body tactile experience or texture of the dark roast coffee, or a bitterness of the dark roast coffee. Based on your answer, you can approach coffee brewing process from different angle. So first thing, if you like the intensity of the dark roast coffee, then you can grind finer. And if you like the bitterness and slightly rough mouthfeel of the dark roast coffee, then you can adjust your brewing ratio between ground coffee to brewing water by using a higher ratio. And then if you like more sweetness characteristics of dark roast coffee, but not really like the bitterness of the dark roast coffee, then you can use a lower ratio, roughly like 1:6 to 1:7 ratio between coffee to brewing water, and then adjust the strength level based on your preferred strength level. So one example will be if you like intensity of the dark roast coffee and higher viscosity with higher sweetness and lower bitterness, then you can grind finer grind setting, and then using lower ratio like 1:6 to 1:8, extract less and then adjust the strength level to your preferred strength level. And then another example will be if you like lighter body and a good amount of bitterness and slightly rough mouthfeel, not too intense in the flavor profile, then you can grind coarser using a full immersion brewing method and using higher ratio between coffee to water, like 1 to 16, 1 to 18, depends on your preferred intensity level. Then you will get dark roast coffee that on the other side of the flavor profile. There are many different answers to brew coffee. Either it is dark roast coffee, medium roast coffee, or light roast coffee. But first thing you need to figure out or ask question to yourself is what aspects of coffee that you are like. You can approach from many different angles. So, and brewing coffee is also this pour over coffee making or like brewing coffee can control lots of variables. And after you brew coffee, you have another phase of the adjustment phase. So you can approach coffee brewing in very different ways. The process of building brewing recipe for me is figure out where is the sweet spot that maximizes sweetness and acidity before start providing more generic flavor or bitterness from the extraction. And then once I figure out that good sweet spot of the extraction rate, then I searching for a different grind setting, because if when it's go finer, it gives more concentrated and intense flavor, and when it's grind coarser, then it the flavor is more stretched out. Either way, it can be good, but it depends on it really depends on the purpose and your preference on intensity level of coffee. And once you figure those two out, and then each brewing devices give different flavor profile because of the geometric shape of the coffee bed and how water is passing through the ground coffee. On that side, brewing method or brewing devices, there's no like clear answer what kind of device provide what types of flavor profile. The last stage of the deciding brewing device is more based on your trial and error. So that's all my answer for the first run. And regarding to the types of coffee that we are serving, in the future video, I will explaining about like each label, what type, how those labels are built, and what the names stands for it. It will help you to decide which coffee that you would like, or decide which coffee you to drink or purchase the coffee, roasted coffee. So on the next video, I'll including that content. So that's it for today, and thanks for watching, and see you soon on our next video. Thanks.